Wendy Williams, girl, you already know when her name comes up, something messy is about to follow. So listen, let me tell you what's going on, because this situation with Wendy Williams and Tupac Shakur is getting dragged back from the dead, and not in a normal way. It's like old drama mixed with brand new chaos, and somehow Wendy Williams is right in the middle of it again. So first, let's rewind, because this is not new beef. Wendy Williams and Tupac Shakur had real tension back in the day, like real personal, public, ugly tension. This goes all the way back to the mid-90s when Tupac was locked up. At that time, Wendy Williams was on radio, and not the polished daytime version we saw later. No, Wendy Williams was in her full gossip era, like messy, no filter, say anything for a headline type of energy. And this is where things went left. While Tupac was in prison, Wendy Williams went on air and started spreading a rumor that he had been assaulted while locked up. Now imagine that for a second. You're already in prison, your reputation is everything, and someone on the radio is out here putting that kind of story on your name. Tupac was furious, not just annoyed, furious. And honestly, you can understand why. Tupac had built this image, this strong, untouchable persona, and Wendy Williams basically poked right at that. According to him, the rumor wasn't even true, and he felt like she was doing it just to get attention. That's what really set him off. Now, when Tupac got out and heard about all this, he didn't stay quiet. Oh no. Tupac responded the way Tupac always did, through music and straight up confrontation. He went at Wendy Williams hard, like brutally hard. He made it personal, he body shamed her, insulted her, and even made threats. There was a whole diss track situation, and let's just say he did not hold back. People who heard it at the time were shocked, because it wasn't just light shade, it was intense. And what's wild is, even though Wendy Williams started the whole thing by putting that rumor out there, she didn't really handle the backlash well. When people started asking her about Tupac's response in interviews, she would get defensive, irritated, sometimes even walk out. And it's like, girl, what did you expect? You can't go on radio, put something that serious on someone's name, and then act surprised when they come back at you. It doesn't work like that. Now, here's another layer to it. Around that same time, Wendy Williams was already dealing with pressure behind the scenes. She had reportedly upset a lot of powerful people in the industry, including Diddy. There were even stories about her receiving threats because of things she said on air. So between that and the Tupac situation, things were getting risky for her. And eventually, Wendy Williams stepped away from radio. Later on, she framed it like a career move, like she was leveling up into television. But behind the scenes, a lot of people believe the heat she was getting played a big role. Even Wendy herself admitted that the Tupac situation scared her. But here's the part that really makes you pause. Years later, Wendy Williams actually said that Tupac mentioning her in his music helped her career. Like, she straight up admitted that without that attention, she might not have reached the level of fame she did. And the crazy thing, she never apologized to him. Not once. So the beef basically ended without any closure. Tupac passed away, and Wendy just stopped talking about him completely. For years, it was like that chapter was closed. But now, somehow, it's all coming back again. Because recently, Wendy Williams has been linked to this whole situation involving a woman named Ally Carter, who has been claiming that Tupac is her biological father. And let me tell you, this is where things start getting really strange. Ally Carter has been making these claims for a while now. She's been online talking about it, insisting that Tupac is her dad, and even suggesting that his family has been hiding the truth. But here's the thing, there is no proof. No DNA test, no official acknowledgement, nothing solid. Still, she keeps pushing the story, and now word is that Wendy Williams has been supporting these claims behind the scenes, not publicly confirming it in a big statement, but allegedly backing it up in conversations. And people are looking at Wendy like, girl, again? After everything that already happened between you and Tupac, why are you stepping into another situation connected to him, especially one this wild? Because this isn't just gossip anymore. This is a whole new level of allegation. And considering Wendy's history with him, it's making people question her judgment all over again. Wendy Williams, because this is exactly why people are side-eyeing her right now, it's not even just about the claim itself, it's about the pattern. Every time Wendy Williams gets involved in something, it somehow turns into a bigger mess than it already was. So now you have Ally Carter, who has been online for a while saying that Tupac Shakur is her father. And she's not saying it casually either. She's speaking like she knows something. She's going into details, talking about hospitals, talking about records, even hinting that people are hiding information from her. And the wildest part, she has also implied that Tupac might still be alive. Yes, that's where this is going. Ally Carter has been saying things like she has seen Tupac, or that he's somewhere out there and can't hide forever. And you know how the internet is. The second someone says something like that, people either fully believe it or completely dismiss it. There's no middle ground. Now add Wendy Williams into this mix. According to what's been circulating, Wendy Williams has been quietly supporting Ally Carter's claims. Not loudly, not on her old talk show platform, but behind the scenes. And people are trying to figure out if Wendy actually believes this or if she's just repeating what she's hearing. Because let's be real for a second, Wendy Williams has always had a reputation for running with stories before they're confirmed. That's literally how she built her name. She was never the type to sit back and verify every detail. If it sounded juicy, she would talk about it. But now things are a little different. Wendy Williams has been dealing with her own personal struggles, the guardianship situation, her health, everything that's been going on with her recently. So when people hear that she's backing something like this, they're not just thinking, oh, Wendy being Wendy. They're actually questioning her state of mind. Some people are saying maybe Wendy Williams is just being influenced by the people around her. Others are saying she might genuinely believe it. And then there's another group that thinks Wendy just can't stay away from drama no matter what stage of life she's in. But let's talk about the bigger issue here. Because if these claims keep getting louder, it's only a matter of time before his family gets pulled into this again. And from what we know, there has been no acknowledgement from them, no confirmation, no hint that Ally Carter is connected to Tupac in any way. So now imagine being in their position. Decades after Tupac's passing, his name is still being dragged into new rumors, new theories, new stories, and now there's a whole new claim about a possible daughter with no evidence to back it up. And on top of that, Wendy Williams, someone who already had a messy history with Tupac, is now being linked to it. That's why people are saying this could turn into another major situation. Because if Tupac's family decides to respond, it's not going to be quiet. And if they don't respond, the rumors might just keep growing. And then you have the internet detectives, of course. People are already comparing pictures of Ally Carter to Tupac, saying, oh, she looks like him. I can see the resemblance, all of that. You know how people get when it comes to celebrity theories? Once they think they see something, they run with it. But resemblance is not proof. We've seen this happen so many times before. People claiming connections, people creating stories, and then when it comes down to actual evidence, there's nothing there. Still, Ally Carter is not backing down. She's speaking with confidence, like she's ready to stand on this no matter what. And now that Wendy Williams is being tied to her claims, it's adding more attention to the situation. Because let's be honest, Wendy Williams still has influence. Even after everything, her name carries weight. So when she's connected to something, people pay attention. And that's exactly what's happening here. People are paying attention. People are talking. People are choosing sides. Some are saying Ally Carter deserves to be heard. Others are saying this is disrespectful to Tupac's legacy. And then there are people looking at Wendy Williams like, why are you even in this again? Because this isn't just old gossip being brought back. This is something new, something that could potentially turn into a much bigger story if it keeps gaining momentum. And knowing Wendy Williams' history, knowing how she moves, knowing how situations around her tend to escalate, this might just be the beginning of another storm with her name right in the center of it. Wendy Williams, and this is the part where everything just starts feeling even more chaotic, because now it's not just about old beef or random gossip. Now it's about how far this situation can actually go if nobody steps in to shut it down. Because think about it, you got Ally Carter doubling down harder than ever. She's not slowing down, she's not hesitating, and she's definitely not backing off. She's speaking like someone who feels backed into a corner, but also like someone who believes she has something real to stand on. She's talking about records being hidden, people in the industry knowing the truth, even hinting at threats and consequences if something happens to her or her mother. That's not light gossip anymore. That's intense. And when people hear that kind of tone, it either pulls them in deeper or makes them extremely uncomfortable. There's no in between. Some people are sitting there like, wait, what if she actually knows something? And others are like, this is going way too far. Now layer Wendy Williams on top of that energy again, because even if Wendy isn't out there screaming this on TV, just the idea that she's supporting it behind the scenes is enough to keep the fire going. Wendy has always been that spark. She says something or even gets connected to something and suddenly it spreads faster. But here's the thing people keep coming back to. Wendy Williams already had her moment with Tupac and it didn't end well. She pushed a narrative back then that hurt his reputation. He fired back, things got ugly, and they never fixed it. So for her to now be tied to another controversial story involving Tupac, decades later, it feels like history repeating itself in a different form. And it raises a real question. Does Wendy Williams ever really change her approach, or does she just move into new situations with the same energy? Because from the outside, it looks like the same pattern. A shocking claim, a strong reaction, and then a ripple effect that pulls everyone else into it. Now let's talk about Tupac himself for a second, because his name is the center of all this, even though he's not here to respond. Tupac has always been surrounded by mystery. His death, the conspiracy theories, the he might still be alive rumors, that has never really gone away. Every few years, something pops up again. But this is different. Because now it's not just about whether Tupac is alive or not, it's about a specific person claiming a direct connection to him. A daughter, that's a whole different level. That's something that, if true, would completely change parts of his story. But if it's not true, it's also something that could seriously damage how his legacy is handled. And that's why people are watching closely, because eventually something has to give. Either proof comes out, or this fades away like so many other claims before it. But right now, it's not fading. It's growing. You've got people online analyzing Ally Carter's face, comparing it to Tupac, pointing out similarities, building entire theories around it. You've got others digging into timelines, trying to see if anything lines up. And then you've got the people who are just here for the drama, watching everything unfold like it's a series. And right in the middle of all that, Wendy Williams's name keeps popping up. Some people are defending her, saying maybe she's just supporting someone who feels unheard. Others are criticizing her, saying she should know better after everything that happened in the past. And then there are people who think Wendy doesn't even realize the impact of what she's doing anymore, because that's the uncomfortable part of this whole situation. Wendy Williams is not the same person she was back in the radio days. A lot has changed for her. So when her name gets attached to something this controversial, people don't just look at the claim, they look at her condition, her history, everything, and it turns into a bigger conversation than just gossip. But at the end of the day, here's what it really comes down to. There is still no proof that Ally Carter is Tupac's daughter. There is still no confirmation from Tupac's family. There is still no solid evidence that backs up these claims. What there is, though, is a lot of noise, a lot of opinions, a lot of speculation, a lot of emotions, and Wendy Williams, whether intentionally or not, is once again part of that noise. So now the real question is, how far is this going to go? Is this just another moment that burns out after a few weeks? Or is this something that's going to keep building until someone finally steps in with something concrete? Because if there's one thing we've learned from Wendy Williams over the years, it's this. When her name gets involved in something, it rarely stays small for long. And with Tupac's legacy, Ally Carter's claims, and Wendy Williams' history all colliding like this situation is